Hello loves, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Akashic records, which is going to be a fun conversation. But before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did have a new service that I just launched, which is Astro Photography, because I kept getting asked to launch this, specifically Astro Photography. So what is it? Basically, Astro Photography is when you use your planetary energies to look at where that lines up with the planet itself. Astro Photography can tell you, like, if let's say you want to move somewhere, you want to take a trip, you want to travel, but you're not sure really where to go, or what to do, or let's say you're getting married or something like that. Astro Photography, I could tell you, like, oh look, Venus is lined up with this area in this city, in this town, or this country, whatever. This is where it lines up for you. You could have like Venus lined up, and then that could be a great place to not only find love, but also maybe make money. Or like if you have Jupiter lined up in a specific area, that would be a great place for you to have some luck, or get some, learn something, get an elder, educate yourself, learn something different. There's different ways that the planets impact us, and different ways that the lands themselves impact us. So it's really interesting to kind of look at so many different things. You can use it for so many different things. If you wanted to plan a trip and you're like, you know what, I want to do, like, focus on doing some spiritual work. Which area of the world is going to specifically impact me, like that I'm going to be able to have some sort of transformative or healing experience? You can literally use Astro Photography to do that. So I just launched that service. You guys can pick 4 places, or you can pick 2, and then intuitively, like, I'll pick the other 2. Or let's say you're like, you know what, Abby, I want to look at these 2 areas. So I want to look at, ancient Egypt and Peru. I want to look at these 2 areas and see what planets line up there. But I also would love to know 2 other areas when it comes to love, or when it comes to, or just you pick, or 2 areas that really could impact me. So yeah, you guys can kind of like pick and choose kind of what you want, or just leave it all to be intuitive altogether. It really depends, but it's definitely something that I think is really an amazing tool to use to like look at how you connect and relate to the planet, and what land really like calls to you for different things. So yeah, so that just launched. Link in the description for my website for those who are going to want to book a reading with me. With that being said, we're going to get started with this conversation. So the Akashic records. The Akashic records is the Library of Souls. The Library of Souls is probably my favorite place to go to for different kind of information, because I think that the Akashic records is ultimately the library, right? And as a Ravenclaw, I'm super nerdy. You guys know I'm a very, very nerdy person. I'm a very studious person, and I try my best to pass down knowledge, and you guys know that as well. But I also love to do my own research and love to do my own spiritual studies, my own soul studies, looking through my ancestors and stuff like that. And when it comes to the Library of Souls, which is the library where everything that has been said, printed, felt, thought, and done is written for everybody. Everybody's soul is written. Everybody has a section, an area within the Library of Souls. So you can think of it, you can visualize it like a big ass library, and you have your own little area within that library that has a ton of different information. There's different ways to work with the Akashic records. The Library of Souls is very much like a library. You should treat it like a library as well, where you can look at your past lives within like the books of your past lives, whether it be like you wanted to look at trauma, different issues that you specifically want to cover, like different trauma, like when it comes to relationships, family, when it comes to spiritual trauma or spiritual blockages. Like there's like, it's so multi-dimensional. Like you can do so much work, but you can also do ancestor work up there, which is one of my favorite ways to use the library itself, is to do ancestor work. Because I always say this because a lot of people kind of like to separate the two, but you are your own soul within your own soul's journey, anchored down within the blood of your ancestors, which means that you have 2 different things that interconnect within this lifetime. You have your ancestral bloodline and the journey of your ancestral bloodline, and you have your own soul's path. And there's times where it interconnects, and there's times where there's work to do on one and work to do in the other. So when it comes to past life work, There's ways to do past life work for your ancestors. There's ways to do healing work for your ancestors. There's ways to look at different trauma and different issues within your ancestral line. There's ways to look at how you connect to certain family members, especially if you have some sort of soul tie or karmic tie to them within like this lifetime or past lifetimes. You can kind of look at that. Like, I've had people come through and ask to understand why their connection with their parent is the way that they are, and if they have some sort of karmic connection to it. I've had people ask about so many different things, because you can ask questions about so many different things, but the Lords of the Records, which are the librarians of the library, they don't like yes or no questions. Okay, they don't. And if you get a reading from me, I'm gonna give you the spiel, which is where I'm gonna say this, because they don't like yes or no questions. The reason why they don't like yes or no questions is because it doesn't make sense. If you go to a library and you need to write an essay on a war, you're not going to just be like, did this war happen? Yes, and that is the essay. That doesn't make any sense, right? You would literally have to be like, okay, what happened in this war? What caused this war? And then you're going to get so much context as to why it happened, and also the answer to that confirmation, that yes or no confirmation that you were looking for, as to, did it happen? Yes, it happened, and this is how it happened. So the library is a place for you to learn. It's a place for you to educate yourself at the end of the day for different things. It's like, well, one of my friends called it spiritual Google, and that's what I always call it all the time, because it is spiritual Google. You can learn so many different things. I've told you guys a couple of times, I go into the records and I will pull spells from my own records that I can use today for different things as needed, because I know if I had lifetimes where I was specifically practicing or where I had that knowledge, I will tap into that knowledge and I will use it today. Like, I will also do that ancestrally. I will be pulling certain things ancestrally, but there's different ways to work with it, so you can understand how to heal yourself, how to grow within yourself, how to even look at your soul contract, even look at your karmic relationships. There's so much healing work that can be done, so much learning that can be done. It's my favorite place to heal, honestly, because you end up healing at a soul level, which is something that a lot of people don't end up doing within multiple lifetimes. And this is why they have repetitive mirroring lifetimes, that, you know, it's mirroring something that happened like a couple lifetimes ago and it wasn't corrected or healed, so it has to be repeated, right? You have to come back and fix it. So it's something that I feel like just healing at the core is what the Akashic Records is about. And I just love just working up there and diving in and just educating myself on my own soul's journey, and looking at my ancestral journey, and looking at and learning and educating myself on things from the past, and reawakening knowledge within myself as well. You do so many different things, because you can literally go into multiple rooms within the library and do different things. Like, you hold healing sessions with certain spirits. You can call your ancestors for different things. You can work with different angels. You can work with, like, it is a very safe space to do that work with as well. It's a very open space. It's just that they don't want you to ask yes or no questions. That's it. It's really not hard. And I feel like a lot of the time when someone's doing a reading with me and I'm like, you just can't answer yes or no questions, they get like, it almost like crosses in their head, like, wait, oh my God, so I have to change my question. But then once I like start giving examples, it's like, oh, I can ask that? Okay, I'll ask that. It's like, there's so many things that you can ask. It's like, you just need to be open to what it is that you want to know. And try to be specific if that's the information you want. Because if you get a reading from me and you're like, oh, do I have traumas? Which is a yes or no question. But what kind of traumas do I have? Right? They'll show me like all of the different books of like the different traumas that you have. But it's like, okay, are you trying to focus on a specific one today? Like, do you want to look at relationship trauma, sexual assault, ancestral trauma, past life? Like, what is it that you want to look at? Grounding, energy healing, spiritual trauma, spiritual oppression. There's so many different things that you can look at. What specifically do you want to focus on today? And so it's really important, not only for healing, but also for guidance, because you can use it as guidance. And because the Akashic Records is not a form of divination, it's literally just like me as someone who is holding space for your session. I'm just the middle person. I'm just telling you what the information is, and I'm giving it to you. It's not divination at all. I'm not divining anything. I'm very much like the neutral party, just serving you your meal. And I think it's just super important to do past life work generally. I feel like more people should be doing past life work, With that being said, I am actually I'm doing a class on, it's a 5-hour Akashic Records intensive in August for those who want to learn how to read the Akashic Records. And we cover so much during that 5-hour intensive. We do multiple meditations. I teach you how to heal your past lives, how to work through your past lives, how to understand different past lives, how to work with your ancestors, your spirits, how to work with other beings, how to do so many different things. We cover so many different things, and that will be linked down below for those who want to check it out. But about every 2 months, I do a class on doing the Akashic Records and how to learn how to use the Akashic Records, because I think more people need to learn how to read the Akashic Records. It is an intensive, so we're doing a lot of healing work, but it is healing at a soul level, and it's honestly it's my favorite healing modality. As someone who's an energy healer, crystal healer, angel healer, I do so much different types of healing, comedic healing. I do so much different types of healing energetically wise, but past life healing will always be my favorite, because just healing through the records and holding space in that way, healing at a soul level and having your power coming back to you it's just so powerful. I don't know how to describe it. For those who've gotten sessions with me, you know what I'm talking about, because you tend to feel it right away. You tend to feel like that weight being lifted off your shoulders. But it's something that is so important, so important. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to give a little intro of the Akashic Records and different kind of ways to work with it and the importance of it, because it's something that more people should have in their arsenal when it comes to their own healing and mastering their own healing. It's something that it's literally next level to your practice, just to learn how to read the Akashic Records, and I highly recommend 1000%. Anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for all of the love and support. I will definitely see you loves in the next one. You guys have a blessed day.